When you have faith in God, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Life is full of trials. There would be definitely ups and downs in your journey through life. God already has a plan in place to help us overcome any problem we might have during our journey through life. God would not help solve these problems himself. He sometimes sends someone, and he gives us with sufficient knowledge and understanding to be able to scale through that problem. The mistake we make most times is that we do not pray to God. Sometimes we act like we created ourselves. We act like we do not need God in our lives, and when we develop this attitude, God just sits back and watches us go through our trial times alone. We live for progress, and in whatever it is we do, we never get satisfied until we start to see results in our life. We get frustrated when we see much effort being put into something and we do not see any results. Especially when we see our friends and neighbors succeeding with little efforts compared to what we have invested in our own work. We get bothered by this, and most times feel we need to find alternative ways of doing things. This desperation can lead to sin, as we might be introduced to doing things that are totally against the will of God. Many of us just want the big houses and big cars. We do not care how we get it. Many times we fall victim of the devil's plan in the process. As God has a plan to help us achieve our goal, the devil also has a plan to ruin us. The offers from the devil are tempting, as he offers us all the worldly things we desire. These temptations can only be overcome when your faith is really strong. Faith means to have a strong belief, complete trust, and confidence in God. Having complete trust in God requires us to be up and doing. Our heart needs to be strong enough to overcome temptations. We need to realize we have a God bigger than our problems who is always ready to help whenever we have issues. We need to realize we can always run to God to solve our problems and He would always answer us. We need to be patient with God as He sometimes tests our faith. It is not like God is interested to see us frustrated, but He just wants to strengthen our faith and believe in Him. These trial times will expose the unbelievers that are disguised as believers. It will separate the strong from the weak and expose the weak for who they really are. Faith is a major thing that separates the believers from the unbelievers. Believers understand that God will always show up and show off with them. We believe God will never leave us stranded, and we are committed to making Him proud. Unbelievers do not trust God to take them away from the dark side. They do not believe God will see them through their trial period, and they do not believe every circumstance has God's print on it. God is the most merciful, and He would definitely forgive any unbeliever that wants to be a believer, but before then, He has a way of making His believers special. He makes things easy for them and opens many doors of opportunities. Sometimes we go through difficult times and we do not realize all we need to do is to simply put everything in God's hands. God has power over all and can command all things to obey Him. God is superior over all beings, so this should give us an idea that there is no problem God cannot solve. Sometimes He just watches us to try to solve our problems ourselves, just to prove to us that we are nothing without Him. We would definitely run back to Him and ask for help after everything we rely on has failed us. God will accept us with open arms and help us through these problems. Success is definitely a fruit of hard work, but there are times we keep working hard and we do not see any success. There are numerous reasons that can cause this predicament. It could be that we do not work hard enough to complement our prayers. Sometimes believers could be lazy. We do not put in enough work to get what we expect. We expect miracles from heaven. Do not get me wrong, miracles do happen, but it still has to be deserved. We put in little effort and expect everything to be fine. The truth is that no matter the pressure we put in our prayers, our effort has to be equal to the required result. We cannot lazy around and expect to have a fruitful result. Just like when you prepare for an exam, you need to read, Prepare yourself before putting everything into God's hand. Heaven helps those who help themselves. Strive to be perfect and God will make you attain perfection. Success is always premeditated. You prepare for success. Opportunity has to meet readiness for success to be produced. This could be one of the reasons that cause success not to be attained. This can easily be corrected by putting in the work. When you put in the work and you pray to God and commit everything into His hands, success would definitely be yours. Sometimes we work very hard but we fail to support it with prayers. It is evident that we have everything planned out, but there's no plan in place to commit everything into God's hand. This is a common mistake we do. We try to do everything like we have the power to achieve everything without the support from God's end. You see someone working so hard, but it feels like they're just pouring water into a basket. All the efforts the person puts in the work would go to waste. There is absolutely nothing to show for it. Sometimes we are the cause of our predicament. Pray to God and talk to Him about your plans. Let God be aware of every step you are planning to take and let Him lead the way. Let Him be the beginning and the end of every project you have in mind. You watch people that are less hardworking than you make a lot of progress than you, and you wonder how that happens. This could be because they have the backing of God, who is sufficient for them. When things start going bad, that is when most of us remember we want to include God in our plans. Well, it's not too late, as God will definitely accept repentant souls and continue to guide them in the right path. But imagine you have involved Him from the beginning. There is every possibility that everything would have gone smoothly, and even if it does not at the time you wanted it to, your mind can be at rest knowing that God is in total control. Most times, we are the reason things do not go right. This is because we keep doing things that God wants us to move away from. There are many things that God wants you to move away from, but you keep doing these things and it yields no results. There is a very big difference between being patient and wasting your time. When God has shown you signs that He approves of what you are doing, then you are definitely being patient and waiting on God to bless what you are doing. But when God does not approve of that thing you are doing, then you are just wasting your time if you are waiting on God to bless what you are doing. God knows what is best for us, and He would never make a wrong decision for us. For everything that God has approved in your life, you should know that it is the perfect thing to do, and God is waiting for the perfect time to bless that thing. When God wants you to move away from something, it is a really bad idea to be stuck on that particular thing. You should have a great relationship with God to know what He wants for you and what He does not want for you. There should be things that you would be able to do if your decision is not supported by God. You should be able to quit when God has shown you signs that you should not be there. God will forever show you the way to go. God has not forgotten about you, and He has a big plan for you. You need to trust in God and make sure you put your complete hope in Him, because only Him can save you from all your problems. You should pray to God to show you all you need to do and to guide you through it all. When God has finally shown you all this, you should be able to make a decision and follow the way God has set out for you. Move away from whatever God does not approve for you. Do not get stuck in those things. God has a plan mapped out for you, and you will only be alright when you follow His instructions, because He knows it all. God will forever be there for you.